to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. I think today's subject on these morning musings of mine covers about all of it. Covers all about it. The need to be right. Sometimes when I do these self-help streams, people get paranoid that I'm talking about them specifically. I'm probably not. Usually I'm talking about me because these are things that I am tempted to. But today's topic, I would be disingenuous to say I don't have about 100 people in mind. Maybe 200, maybe 1,000, maybe 1,000,000, because this is a contagion that we see on the internet, we see on Facebook, we see it on our Twitters, and it's bad. I think it's bad, and I think it's wrong. There is this compulsion to be right. And when I say the compulsion, that's what we're going to be talking about here. Listen, if you are secure in who you are and what your position is on anything, you don't need to be obsessed if some rando on the internet is not holding to that same position. Some exceptions might be, though, like a politician's like, okay, maybe let them have, especially if it is someone that is supposed to be representing you, or if it's someone that's supposed to be a close friend. And I say supposed to be because, boy, have I learned the hard way that that's not always the case. Not always the case. It's just amazing how many people are just unwilling to chat something out. There is nothing on this planet that cannot be chatted out. But if you're dealing with a situation where the person has to be right, because what would happen if they said that they were wrong? That's what we're going to go into. It's the psychology of that. Once again, if you think I'm talking about you, I probably am, but I'm also talking about me. I'm talking about you, and I'm also talking about me. It's so tempting. I suppose I should add another situation that might be an exception is if you have some slander happening. That's a concern. Something that will actually truly affect you in your personal life, in your real life, if someone is going around saying stuff about you. However, I have found through a recent experience, if you never lie, if you always tell the truth, which is the same thing as never lying, when someone out of the blue tries to say something about you and there's just no evidence, that sometimes is the best defense. I recommend to anyone out there who continues to use social media, learn to fight smart, not hard. Because when you fight hard, you'll probably come off looking bad, and you will find yourself vulnerable when someone wants to say something about you that is not true. Fight smart, pick your battles, know what's really going on. Never jump into an internet fight until you have all of the information, because I promise you, most internet fights that you see break out on YouTube or on Twitter or anywhere else. They started in a DM. They started in something that happened where no one else could see it, and I promise you, you're not getting the whole information. If you think I'm talking about you, I am, but I am also talking about me. These are my temptations that I'm talking about. Well, look who's here. Hi there and good morning all. Yes. You're talking about me. Just kidding. Good morning, dear. Yes, I am talking about you. God bless America. I cannot tell you how many times people in such good faith have come into my DMs and say, hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that I was making you feel like that. And I'm thinking, what on earth is this person talking about? And it turns out I had said one of my quotes, and they thought I was talking about something that they had tweeted, and you don't wanna be that jerk and say, "You're the farthest thing from my mind," because that's usually what it is. Usually it is, how do I say this? I always say very last, like, "Oh, no, I wasn't talking about you." Half the time I'm talking about people in my real life, I'm talking about a daggone concert master, a stupid oboist. Okay, I shouldn't bash oboes, but if you know, you know. Okay. I'm not even probably talking about anyone else that you know. But before we do, I have to say hello to everyone coming in and everyone that will be watching on the replay. It is Corey Cochran. Hello there and good morning. Hello, Magitech Mags Levia. Tim the Sentinel says absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. Absolutely. I'm not sure to what, but yeah. And so you won't see me on doing an internet fight. First of all, it's worthless. Second of all, most people aren't even trying to come to reason. It's very hard when you see hypocrisy, very hard to just shut up, but you have to. And I can tell you why. First of all, I've warned before. Half the internet fights are fake. They may even be organizing them. In one situation I know where it's like, "I blocked this person. This person's evil." But this person was still in a private chat yucking it up and everything with the same people. And I'm like, "Okay, so do you hate us or not?" Um, but it's all many times it's performative, and it's gonna get worse the more that you monetize Twitter interaction. So keep that in mind, number 1. Number 2, as I said earlier, it's something that happened privately, and usually the person losing the fight then tries to bring it public so that then you will respond in anger, and then you look like the psycho. If you think I'm talking about you, I am, but I'm also talking about me. That's gonna be my mantra for this stream. So please, these are observations that I saw beginning back in 2018. So I've been around the block. I am also by trade an anthropologist, among other things. So I have studied this. Guard yourself online. You don't know. And don't defend people. Doesn't that sound terrible? But you probably shouldn't. First of all, this person may not be worth defending, or you don't know the whole story. So you don't know, actually, maybe this person is in the wrong. Also, in many cases with internet fights, the person won't thank you for defending them because they'll turn on you on a dime. I promise you. Gosh, this is sounding cynical, but I this has been in my heart for a very long time. And for those of you that think I'm talking about you, I am, but I'm also talking about me, my temptations. And I put this stream together back in February, believe it or not. So try to trace what triggered me on this one. Good luck. But I put off streaming it because I'm like, everyone's going to think I'm talking about this situation, that situation, another situation. I need to double check. Okay, what does the Sentinel said? It's difficult to express your frustrations even if you are right. And most people want to stay out of it, especially if both people fighting are friends with you. Darn right. So if you try to bring me in, I'm done. And if you try to bring me into a public internet fight, I'm done. There's very few things I'll be done with you about. But here's also the thing. Keep in mind the Sentinel. You don't know what's really going on. And I don't even know what you're talking about here, but I promise you, you don't know what's really going on. And that's why I always warn people, don't jump in. You don't know what happened unless you are a part of it. And even if you are a part of it, I say don't jump in. It ends badly. And you don't know the stability of the people. You don't know how this person might react. And that's where we're going to get into about this whole need to be right. Trust me, it's frustrating. Someone was lying about me, and I just had to do everything to just shut my mouth because there was no way I can win. You cannot win an internet fight. Even when you are right, you are wrong. The only way to win is not to play, and people will eventually leave you alone. Anyone, though, knows, or the handful of people that have had this with me. If I have something to say, if I have an argument, if you will, to have with you, I will invite you to a hangout. I will not respond to Twitter. You have something to say to me, you say it to me in a hangout. And when those situations have happened, people will know, but they won't say because that's not cool to say what happens in private. And it's not fun to say it was a very rational conversation. People will be rational with you with voice. Never respond to an attack by DM or with hangout. If you have anything to say to anyone, say it to them in a hangout. And they have always worked out well. The only time a situation has not worked out well is when the individual declined to get into a hangout and speak it over with me. Tried to bring it out onto Twitter. I said, we're going to talk about this in a hangout. It is also appropriate if maybe you don't feel comfortable, have a witness, but make it clear you have to have a proper witness, meaning everyone knows it's there. No blind listening in. So it's like, listen, if you're not comfortable talking with somebody, you're feeling like maybe they might use some stuff against you. You bring a witness you trust, they bring a witness they trust, and they're publicly there. That's another advice I would give. This particular situation where it was declined was where the person, I had some things to say, and the person, there was evidence the person was wrong. And it's hard. I know. It's hard to admit you were wrong or that you've been caught in something. But what I'm talking about today is not even necessarily rational situations. I'm talking about when um you're dealing with the irrational. And that's what I learned over these years. Let me go again on the record and say I also have a specific situation that happened with an orchestra. Okay, so this isn't so if you think, "Oh, she's talking about this person." No. You don't even know this person. You don't know unless you know all the conductors in the world, you don't know this person. That triggered some of this in me as well. But I'm gonna show you why you absolutely should not and why you need to be so careful, because this is what you are dealing with when you're dealing with someone that has to be right. Because a person who is genuine and has accepted, say, an invitation, it's like I said, it's usually ended with mutual apologies. Oh my gosh, I totally misunderstood, because it's so easy to do. And I so lost my temper. Every time I've lost my temper, I always immediately apologize too. But these are some things to look out for with this really toxic stuff and why you're probably wasting your time. My only answer to all of these is the correct way to deal with the situation is to invite them into a one-on-one voice conversation if you can meet them in person. If they decline that, then there's nothing that can be done. Exceptions always being when you're dealing with someone that you know is psychotic, and when there has been doxing or situations where someone has actually gone after you in your real life. You have to immediately cut off contact with any of these people and consult your lawyer and law enforcement, all that good stuff. Protect yourself. Okay, what does Mag say? Oh, yes, hypocrisy sucks so much, but you can't do much about it when people entrench in their own narrative to start to convince them otherwise. Darn right. Darn right. And also remember, in the so-called internet spheres, there is no gain in correcting hypocrisy. Not only do they know they're hypocrites, so pointing out that they're hypocrites doesn't do anything. There's two kinds of hypocrites: the ones that really are, and those that are actually faking something to get engagement. So be very, very careful with that. Either way, you're wasting your time. We are all sinners, correct? We all do bad stuff. When someone trash talks me, the good news is, as I can always say, and did the person tell you that I apologized? The answer is usually no. And of course, usually what I'm trash talked about is not what really happened. I apologize for things I say in anger. And I very rarely say things in anger. It takes something very, very intense to get to that point. But I can swear in a Bible and say that I have always apologized for things said in anger and for losing my temper. Also, one way you can tell when you're dealing with hypocrisy or bad actors, just talk it through. Look at what they're saying. Here's a red flag. For no reason whatsoever, this person suddenly was just awful to me. Really, no reason. I love that expression, by the way. What, we are all sinners, or I'm talking about me talking about you? Oh my gosh, I've got so many things I've been saying. I'm sorry. I'm yapping here. Yep. Magitech Mix have been lied about, and the people who do care are the only ones who matter and truly know. It's best to just stay silent and let the liar oust themselves. Yes. And I can tell you this. It is so obvious that this person is full of whatever. There are always holes. There was one situation I'm thinking of where just the first tweet, you're like, there's more to this story. This isn't rational. Or like, someone wants nothing to do whatsoever, and I didn't really do anything, and it was a total accident. Yeah, so this person wants nothing to do with you ever again over nothing? Nah. But people have their ulterior motives for doing it. Kinda, the guy on Detective Homicide or whatever, Homicide Hunter, he always says there's 3 motivators: money, drugs, and sex. I'm hoping it's not drugs. So there is one situation I do know drugs were involved. But not with anyone I have anything to do with anymore. Okay. But yeah, a drug deal gone bad. But money and sex are the motivators. So you cannot compete with money or sex. Got a lot of grace from God or whatever you believe in, okay? It takes a higher person. And I will not lie, it has been so hard for me to not retaliate. Miss Smart Music, I'm sorry that happened to you. I haven't been keeping up with what's going on in the community. Yeah. Well, this is what's interesting, Sentinel. Probably this individual has not tried it on you because people know who's gullible. People very rarely come to me with anything anymore. For one thing, number one, I tell the individual, why are you talking to me? Talk to them. What does this have to do with me? Or I will say, okay, so you're saying this about person. When, where, how, why? Show me. Primary source. I don't take secondary sources. I only take primary sources. So if people know that you won't listen, they won't try. I won't have anything to do with it. I can smell it out. Understand, I've told you all, I've been a teacher for more than 20 years. I have worked with the Catholic Church, which her human side is very human. I have seen corruption from the very top to the very lowest. I see it. I see it. And sometimes people judge me with how I deal with situations. Sometimes you need to be prudent. You got to be prudent before being right. We're about ready to go into the reasons why some people have to be right. Okay, I can sit there and I can go off on this person that I know is a lunatic. This person is psychotic. This person has doxed this ex-girlfriend, whatever it is. Oh gosh, not even touching that one. Why should I make trigger that narcissistic injury in this individual? Sometimes you've got to be polite. Sometimes people are like, "You were polite to that person who's awful." It's like, "Yes, I will always be polite." And even when I do the smackdown, I am pretty polite, but I use my words differently because you've also got to protect yourself. There's 2 ways to do with a bully. Aw, thank you, Magitac. One way is the schoolyard way that worked, I think, before the internet. You confront the person, you punch him in the face. I don't recommend that actually, but oh well. I've been told, especially among boys, that's the way you get the bully to leave you alone. The other way, and I have found the most sure way to avoid being a target of bullying, is not to become a target. That's the easiest way. Don't become a target. Magic Mix says people believe what they want to believe, even with or without evidence, as long as the people who care truly know and understand that's all that matters. It is what it is. Yeah. And also, this is just the Lord's truth. People always side with the bigger YouTuber. I mean, that's just reality. That's where money comes in. Money is often the motivator. If you never lie, though, you don't have to worry about it. If you never have intentionally hurt someone, you won't have to worry about it. I've seen some people cry, "This person brought up bad things about me that I did." And I'm like, "Well, did you do them? And did you do them publicly?" Actually, these are not people I have anything to do with. I'm just thinking that in my head. It's like people are sorry they got caught. No, the need to be right equals pride. There is a reason why pride is one of the 7 sins. Damn right. And boy, will they turn on you on a dime. You angry? I find this very hard to believe you're a very fair, insightful person. Well, thank you, Sentinel. Can I can I put that on a mug? Never underestimate what someone will try to do if they get it into their head that you don't think they're right. That's what's going on. That's what happened. That's it's like, listen, if oh, they'll go to no ends. And I'm glad that I always have had it on the record. My apologies. And witnesses miss. Oh, well, it's Uriah. Hello. Metcheck says it's easy to stay angry. It's hard to move on, let things be. We all want closure, but sometimes you can't get that. So you have to pick and choose your battles. My sanity is more important. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard. And the hardest thing is, because I found this out, you can you could have it on video. We saw this We see this even nowadays. I'm talking about the larger political spectrum. Oh, look, here's a video of this person clearly acting in self-defense. And they're like, that person did murder. Or here's this person murdering this person. And people are like, I'm looking at the video. I don't see the person killing the other person. Everyone's saying good morning, etc. Yeah. And I probably better shut up before I get in trouble. Oh, well. If you think I'm talking about you, I am. And I'm also talking about me. So we're all covered. Corey Cochran said, "Unless this thing I feel needs to be said, I only bug peeps with music and ask what they think." Yeah, yeah. And sometimes people do need a heads up. They do need a heads up. But be careful because everyone, especially on Twitter and in this whole here in YouTube's, everyone sees what you see. I promise you. It's on the people's timelines. Okay? They're not hiding who they are. So if you try to give someone a heads up, hey, this person is like this doing this. It's already on their timeline. These people know and they will hold it against you. Because a lot of people have alliances again to help each other. It's if you see it, I promise you everyone else has seen it. I don't like to get dragged into others' drama and won't drag others into mine. Super rule of life. Yeah. It's taken me a while for my Irish side to not get timid with people who are blind to reality. Yeah. Yeah, and when we say blind, they know. You see, that's what I keep trying to tell people. If you know, they know. If you saw it on their Twitter timeline, guess who else saw it? Everyone saw it. And it'll turn against you. And just keep that in mind. People have their reasons for doing what they do. Now, ironically, if we're talking YouTubers and stuff, I hope I don't get in trouble for this stream. Uh, the people that are really, truly successful, I mean, they've shot up right through the roof. They're got 100,000 subs in a year, approaching 1,000,000 subs. They don't act like that. They don't do that. Because at the end of the day, people want stability, no matter what they say. You might get a short-term gain, but you will not get anything more. Dry says, feel like people that need to be right always have a victim complex. They can know they are in the wrong, but feel that they are owed trust at their word, then become combative when you call them out. Yeah. And we're also going to talk about this here. Part of the reason why they get so awful when you call them out is because they are actually feeling shame. And they don't know how to deal with healthy shame. So they lash out, they lie about the person calling them out. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And here's something else. Even if you didn't truly intend it, there's nothing wrong with apologizing. Hey, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Because you do need to acknowledge that people have feelings, right? Just don't cast your pearl before swine. It is Chrysanth. Hello, hello. Corey says, I won't give a heads up to someone where all can see to me that something needs to be said in a DM or email, call in person, whatever, if it matters, worth the trap. Yeah. It's a trap. And sometimes people will feign ignorance because they're trying to lure out their enemies. If you saw it on the person's Twitter, the people following the person saw it on their Twitter. All right. If you see contradictory behavior, how do I say this? Also, be careful about fights because I've said before, sometimes a fight will start in a DM and sometimes it will start on Twitter, but maybe you didn't see the first tweet that started the fight. Always look to who threw the first punch. Mad checks, yeah, they don't want to take responsibility for their own action. Instead, they make them feel the victim when that's not true. True, because that's easier. It's easier than saying, I was wrong. It feels like to be wrong. Trust me, I know. I feel horrible. Or even when I accidentally hurt someone's feelings. Or there's so many people nowadays that are up and about, and some people feel snubbed or something. It's like, oh my gosh, that is not my intention. Though I do go out of my way for people that have supported my channel. And I did not pull I've got monetized now, so I need to have people on that'll only bring, viewers to my channel. So you're not welcome anymore. Or not welcome, but so I'm just a heads up. That's why I'm not having you on the panel anymore. And it's like, oh, now that's different. That's being a jerk. That's being imprudent as well. Because even if it's true, it might be true with a lot of people. Don't tell the person. Gee whiz. Have some prudence. All right. Or friends of yours follow them and they tell you. Yeah. Yeah. They all know. I look at who follows who. Now, to be fair, some people I have muted. So I don't mind if someone I trust gives me a heads up. But I promise you, when I worked for Once Upon a Fan, well, I was owned Once Upon a Fan too. I did a lot with Once Upon a Fan. One of my jobs was when contributors to the website or people that wanted to even join our staff, my job was to go through their social media. And it didn't take long. I usually only had to look at about 4 or 5 tweets to figure out is this person going to be a problem? Is this person a drama? HOWRE. I'm guilty of being obstinate for the sake of everything, saving my pride eats me up afterwards, though. I was wrong all the time, so it's easy me to say I was. I just assume I don't know anything all the time. Yeah. But yeah, but for crying out loud, if someone's sitting there doxing someone and then everyone's like, I don't see it doxing. It's like, yes, if you are publishing a person's place of work, their friends, their boyfriends, and all that, it's doxing. And it does. And the one that kills me is, well, the person had it coming. No, no one has it coming. Your worst enemy doesn't have it coming. And I agree with that, with also people being cruel. Sometimes people mistake, though, confrontation or straightforwardness with being cruel. There's a difference. It can be done in anger, which is always wrong. It can be a little too strong. But cruel is like when you hit below the belt. Like you go after family or you go after special needs family members. You or someone has a disability. Are we even allowed to say disability more? I don't know. And you make fun of that. That's below the belt. That's below the belt. It's no big deal and learn from it. Yeah. Chris says, in some ways, I feel it's work when you accidentally hurt someone because you might not even be aware you said something wrong. Yeah. And that's also where I'm like, listen, people, before you lose your crap, maybe just ask the person. It's like, hey, did you mean that? Because it kind of hurt my feelings, but, we've kind of been cool with each other. Did I hear you right? Sometimes a person will say, damn right, I don't like you. It's like, okay, fine. But most of the time people go, oh no, it is so easy with text. Twitter, even stuff in chat and all, it's so easy to misunderstand. Always ask. There was a situation that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers still praises me on, though I think he's gotten so big, I don't know if they can see anyone in a chat. But they accidentally blocked me. What happened was there was just so many trolls and things, and I got caught up in it. So I'm blocked from their channel. And Jeremy to this would say for several years, Teresa, instead of going nuclear on Twitter and assuming the worst, this person's horrible. Geeks and Gamers suck, all this stuff and going nuclear. They blocked me for no reason whatsoever. I DM someone I know that works with Geeks and Gamers, and I'm like, looks like I got blocked. Do you know what's going on? And immediately they were like, OMG. And they figured out what had happened and they reinstated me. It's like, just ask. Just ask. Most people, despite what I've just said, are not psychos. And companies like that would not be successful if they were all psychos. It does suck to be wrong. If you're wrong, it's no big deal. Then learn from it. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe this is partly because of confession. I think confession is something that's very healthy. To regularly have to examine your own conscience. First of all, we're supposed to do that every night. But if we have found that we have wronged someone, wronged ourselves, or maybe wronged God, just going in anonymity, because that's why confession is so important to be anonymous, and just lay it out. I was wrong, mea culpa. AA is really good for that too. That's why AA is so effective for helping alcoholics and other addicts. They will not let you be a victim. You have to be honest. It's good for you. Clarify, clarify. Yeah. And that's why, if I have trouble with someone, I will invite you into a hangout. Matt Wilkins, I'm not a psycho. I think maybe. Hello, Matt. Yeah. And if the person declines the invitation, well, there you go. And, there's loads of terms. I've known people that have worked things out, and it's like a friggin' peace treaty or something from Geneva that they work out the details. But yeah, there does come a time where you do need to cut off. What I call quiet quitting, because quiet quitting people is probably safer, especially when you're not entirely sure of their stability. But let's get into this. Here we go really quickly. Jariah says, oh, no, I'm sorry. That is Chris Ant. Sometimes it gets interesting to try to explain things that happen online during confession with the priest that puts things into perspective. Hell yes. Hello, Gravity. It makes you feel like an idiot, frankly. And second of all, and I'm going to get into this. I have argued with people I care about. I have argued with. Does it matter? Does it really matter if someone on the internet says something? Now, exceptions being family, doxing, all those kind of things, psychotic things. Yes, that person put out that tweet to piss you off and piss off their supporters, piss off their viewers. So obviously that person's a crap person. So how about just ignoring the crap person? Because often when people especially try to instigate a fight, actually, they're probably not even meaning what they're saying. They're trying to get engagement. And so you give them the attention they want. So what if this person over there says something about something? Does that have anything to do about you? I swear to you, the greatest revenge you can get on a person like that is to ignore them because they want attention. All right, I'm going to share now. I do have some stuff here. Doxing is cowardly. You actually just having a mob do your bidding instead of breaking force. Yeah. Well, and here's probably the thing about doxing. Doxing, and this is what makes it so wrong. Its very purpose is to frighten people, to intimidate them. That's why it's so evil. Can people probably find you? I guess. I mean, there's phone. We used to have the phone book, okay? But the act of doxing is in itself an act of intimidation. And when some people say the only way I can protect myself is by doxing the person, no, you can call the cops. You're trying to intimidate this person. You're a liar. Magic Megs, I had to quietly back away from people, and it turns out that it was probably a good thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to quit him. What do you do, says Potato Ribbon, when you have a fight with one person and someone else takes their side so hard you don't talk to you anymore? I want to talk to my cousin, but she won't speak to me. I did nothing to her. Here's the sad news. There's nothing you can do till they come around. I mean, you'll never go wrong if you offer the olive branch and you offer it very simply. Let's talk about this. Let's talk this out. If they do not accept your invitation, then that's on them. A doctor won't help me, says Potato Ribbon, because I'm overweight. I'm going to lose as much weight as I can, then go back to the doctor and go to another doctor. Tell him to go after himself. Well, that's your prerogative. Yeah. And I told you, I have people that don't know about universal healthcare don't know about those things. They think, oh, they'll pay for everything. Yeah, they'll pay for everything if you can get it. And I swear the definition of overweight, I have a friend in England who also was having trouble with, oh, he's overweight, he's obese. This dude was not overweight. Okay, he had a bit of a dad gut, but he was not overweight. I mean, majorly overweight, maybe 10 pounds. That is, but they have this body index thing. But yeah, well, yeah, we'll get back. But yeah, do what you need to do. And here's my thing about losing weight, about exercising, all of those things. Do it for yourself. You feel better. You feel better. Magic Meg said publicly dredging up drama for clicks and intentions like trying to game you into playing chicken. They want you to flinch. Or actually, they can point and say, see, so don't flinch. Yeah, ignore them. And I always tell people, do not block. Never block. I know this from a certain group that used this technique. That if they, because blocking is attention, right? Mute them. They might still show up now and then, but just get over it. And that's where you get trophy blocks. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Let's go into this information. Some people need to be right always. They cannot stand to lose an argument. Right there. Some people need to be right always. They cannot stand to lose an argument. And I would ask you, maybe those listening, what happens if you lose an argument? What really happens? Nothing. especially when the person you're arguing with probably isn't even worth your time. Wow, lost over 200 pounds. Holy crud. Well done. My goodness. Yeah. Revenge porn. Yeah. Yeah. Why do people excuse that? "Oh, eh, I've also seen this when people excuse it. It's like, well, he's fine. He didn't do it to me. If they do it to someone else, they'll do it to you. If I don't look at somebody to see how they treat someone they like. I look to see how people treat someone they don't like because that shows their character. Think about it. Matt is like, "Wait, it's possible to lose an argument?" Yes, and guess what? You still were alive at the end of the day. Hey, Miss Martin, yeah. Yeah, they can't stand to lose an argument, but this is where it gets scary. When they lose an argument, they go for revenge, and the things they do over losing an argument, and usually it's over S Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. Holy crap, the things I've seen happen over losing an argument over Star Wars. You see oh, right now, all this Ahsoka stuff, it's like, so someone out there likes Ahsoka. Oh my gosh, maybe don't destroy that person's life for liking Ahsoka. Uh, but yeah, this people cannot stand to lose an argument. And if you think I'm talking about you, I am, but remember, I'm also talking about me. They won't admit defeat in the face of compelling evidence against their position. That's why you're wasting your time with these people. That's where they'll move the goalpost or they'll shift it. So if you are finding yourself in an argument, never let them shift the subject. It's like, well, you did this, you did that, you did that. It's like, okay, but can we still talk about this first point? And then I promise you we'll get to the other point. And then instead of answering that, they'll say, "Hey, remember that time 2 years ago?" And then the temptation is to defend yourself from that time 2 years ago. You have to go back and go, "No, I'd be more than happy to talk about that time 2 years ago, but we're gonna stick to this." Because they won't admit defeat in the face of a compelling evidence. Like I said, they will take a that's why be careful who you defend online, because maybe this is a situation that started in a DM, and so they try to publicly shame the person. And in extreme cases, we've seen something that starts with an S with wadding on the end. We've seen we've seen doxing, we've seen cruelty. I mean, imagine going home to your loved ones and saying, "I was incredibly cruel to someone today. Aren't I awesome?" Because, the person was wrong about Ahsoka. Wow. Matt Wilkins says we suffer over lack of respect for others, real feel someone else's perspectives. Darn right. And like I said, when someone refuses to see a perspective, that's when you gotta walk away. I always will invite people. They wanna argue with me. By the way, hello, Orville Nation. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a minute. I've been trying to get to your things, but things have been going on. See, that's the other thing. When someone goes extra cruel on you, when they know what you're going through in your real life, and then, well, it's like, wow, wow. Uh, because they lost an argument. In the face of, once a cheater, always a cheater. My friends say you don't become from fight, say no if you okay. Yeah, Matt Wilkins, you're exactly right. Not only not to see someone else's perspective, but refusal to even hear, even with rationality. And again, when someone resorts to cruelty, you cannot go anywhere from there. You cannot go anywhere from cruelty unless the person apologizes and takes it back. Joy, I've only lost one argument to myself. Still hate that guy. Yeah. That's when I feel like people need to log off. LOL. Well, yeah. Well, see, here's something else. This is my personal psychological observation. I found that the people that argue the most and are the most cruel on the internet, on Twitter, are the most insecure. Maybe they're insecure and maybe unhappy in their real life. They have not been successful in their quote unquote real life. They don't feel like they're getting respect. So how I'm going to get respect, what do they call that when you transference? Like you're pissed off at your boss and you feel all little, so then you go and like, I'm going to feel like a big guy. I'm going to bully people the way I was bullied today. So people think they're being awesome when they're doing that. They're actually showing something very wrong. But yeah, this is why you don't argue with them. They won't admit defeat in the face of compelling evidence against their position. That's why pointing out hypocrisy never works. It's more about being the dominant one in a relationship. You have to act before they'll start listening. Hello, people need to treat each other how they would face to face. Darn right. And that's why I'm telling you that I will always refuse an invitation to an argument online, but I will offer a hangout with witnesses, with everyone bringing their own witnesses if need be. But to immediately assume the worst about someone, I have a problem with that too. You always should assume the best about someone until you have evidence to the contrary. What if the person you're arguing with is don't argue with them? See, that's the thing. These people are, you said it, D with a dash and a CK. These are bad people. If someone, like I said, someone is a, you know what, on Twitter. And if you think I'm talking about you, I am. But I'm also talking about me. But in other words, I'm talking about everybody. My temptations. You don't see me do it, but you don't see my temptation to it. And how many prayers and how many calls out to Jesus it takes to not respond in kind. If someone is a jerk, have nothing to do with them. And I mean that. Once they have proven that they will be cruel in an unbelievable fashion, this person said, don't argue with them. Why are you giving them power? These people want attention. They don't want to have a conversation. They want to waste your day and they want to make you mad and then they'll laugh at you. Have you noticed that people that do this, they start laughing at people? LOL, LOL. And then the person gets madder and madder. It's like, yeah, they're having fun with you because there's something wrong with them. There's something broken in them that feels like they have to win on Twitter over nothing. Walk away from a D with a CK. Always. The person who won't admit they are wrong needs reassurance they're in control before they allow darn right. And if you are coming from a place of charity and truth, you have nothing to fear. Like I said, the one time the person refused was the evidence was there. It was witnessed. But I was still willing to make it right. You have to offer that olive branch with some people. There's some people that you don't owe anything. Random person on the internet, you don't owe anything. Someone that doesn't want anything to do with you, someone who thinks they're too important for you, don't then walk away. What do you care? It's like, but this person thinks they're special and better than everyone else. Yeah, they do. And look at them. They're small people, though they might be tall in real life or whatever. You know what I mean? Who cares? And I mean that strongly. Being online is very easy for people, Chris Ant says, to forget that behind each username is a person. Sees let pride get the upper hand in that case. Darn right. Matt Williams says, Zach, you don't have to agree with that perspective, but you should make an effort to understand it. Darn right. When you immediately go to cruelty, again, cruelty is where I'm drawing the line. You can argue, but when you start to get cruel, Ooh, yeah. No, 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 no. Someone I know made my friend cry because she liked Picard and Ahsoka, and they called her a word I can't say on my YouTubes because she is on the spectrum and she didn't understand what proper Star Wars is. Makes me nervous to review stream Ahsoka. Yeah. One, yeah. But see, that's the other thing. You don't know the mental state of people. So you got to be careful. Um, but also vet who you have on your channel. I'm not necessarily calling you out here, but if someone's done something like that before, then they've done it before. I have some I've said, I'm not arguing. I'm just explaining I'm right. I'm not a. It's not 100% a joke. Kelly and hello. Get a rib and simply move on. That happened to me, and I was like, okay, then don't lose sleep over it. If they drop you without chat, you'll find. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. If they won't, that's what I'm saying is that's one of my walkaways. If they will not talk with you about it, there is nothing on this planet that cannot be talked about. Of course, exception being if you're dealing with someone that is truly psychotic. Over anime girl said overnight shit. I'm afraid exactly what that's about. Yeah. Yeah, it's awful. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, and there needs to also I don't know how to say this properly. I have seen situations happen on Twitter where the person didn't know the person was. And maybe people shouldn't have to go around explaining it, but that they have a disability or something. It's like, "What are you, stupid?" And it's like, "Well, yes, actually, I am." I think you just need to be careful. The easy answer is don't argue. Don't argue. And if somebody likes Ahsoka, who cares? I know it's garbage. Absolute garbage. To me, the EU is canon, but these people say it's not canon. Who cares? To me, it is. Why do people feel like they have to browbeat people into being cruel? And this whole quote tweet, I hate quote tweeting because that's also a form of bullying. I think there are lots of fairly decent people not behaving well. Yeah. Well, again, I think that they get caught up, they forget, and they don't realize how do I say this? We all know that what they did was heinous, Disney. What they did to Luke Skywalker is heinous. They're iconoclasts. But dear God, it's not like they burned down your house. This kind of fanaticism, this cult, and I guess I'll use the word cult. It's scary. And the fact that you're willing to lose friends over it. Oh my goodness. Gosh. Sorry, that was my alarm warning me. 1 hour till Pilates. Some people are only there for gossip and drama, especially when someone is crisis. Darn right. They love it and they instigate it. Yeah, that's very true. Everyone thinks their position holds the high ground and refuse to accept opinions outside of their own. Darn right. Darn right. To me, the only high ground there is have you lowered yourself. You lose the high ground if you lie, if you're cruel. Yeah, you lie or you're cruel. There is never an excuse for that. Never. So I want to say this again. Sometimes people think that you're being cruel if you're arguing. There's a difference between arguing and being cruel. Everyone knows that. Arguing happens all the time. If people want to argue about Ahsoka, if they want to yell at each other about Ahsoka, go ahead. But when you start to get into the realm of, well, you're just a loser who's ugly and old and, or if they lie, hold you up as an object of contempt or ridicule. Again, quote tweeting is evil. I don't like people that quote tweet. And those of you that know that I have, you know, I'll say this to anybody. Stephen Hopkins, who signed the Declaration of Independence, once said, "I've never seen or smelled an issue that was so dangerous it couldn't be talked about. Hell yes, I'm for debating anything." Darn right. Agree with D. I only use it and engage with a jerk if that person is being a jerk to a friend. And I understand that, but I always say, be careful. You don't know what's behind it. There's a rather notorious person out there who I won't say, who's like the enemy of the enemy of the week. So it says, "Look what this person said to our friend." And then my first question was, how did that person even know your friend existed? Well, the person tweeted at her. It's like, "Oh, really? What was the tweet?" you know? You can avoid arguments if you want to. Every now and then it does come out of nowhere. Yep, that's true, but very rarely. Ahsoka is essentially Rebels season 5, which I loved Rebels. Oh, okay. Well, like I said, free country. See, look, I'm not going to kick you out or call you horrible things because you like Rebels. There's no bigger waste of time than this. Well, there's a reason why Star Wars is just so toxic right now. You can't win. Arguing is for buds in fam in person, not online. Or criticism doesn't always equal negativity, hate. Yeah, yeah. And understand, I always tell people, be very careful. They're saying, "I'm just responding in kind. Look what this person said to me." It's like, yeah, that nobody saw that. Chrisanne, same here about a Blu-ray. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go and continue. We're going to get through this. So you're wasting your time. They won't admit defeat. They have to be right. Their goal is to be right. Period. Even having the last word may not be enough for them if they believe the other side has gotten tired of the discussion and stopped arguing without conceding their point. Yeah. And they they won't. So first of all, they have to have the last word. Why do you have to have the last word? That's also a form of pride and ridiculousness. But even having the last word may not be enough for them if they believe the other side has gotten tired of the discussion and stopped arguing without conceding their point. Yeah, and that's where the bullying comes in. Then they'll go around and start quote tweeting. So this person's like, "Oh gosh, I'm just moving on. But that person didn't agree to my point, so I'm going to ruin their day. And I'm going to laugh at them and make fun of their mothers and their, I don't know. You see it. You see it. So even having the last word may not be enough. You have to concede the point. And if you don't concede their point, you are the enemy. There's a fanaticism to this that's really weird. Yeah. Magic Dry says, criticism, a lot of people take as personal attacks. There's interesting wanting to question versus beating someone down to feel big. Yeah. That's the other thing. Extreme situation, but here it is. I enjoyed Twilight, the books and the movies. Can I tell you how many times people have said Twilight is crap and I can't believe you like it? What's wrong with you? And I say, I liked it. Not going to change the fact I liked it. What do you want me to do? I mean, I know it's stupid. Maybe that's part of the thing, but extreme example. What do I care if someone thinks something I liked is stupid? Hello, Shield Wall of Dragons. Good to see you. I'm tired of being right all the time. Yeah, isn't it terrible? Yeah. Yeah, every now and then I'll get people coming to Catholic Spain, just be awful. And just like, listen, I'm not saying you have to agree with this. That's the whole point. I'm just explaining what it is. But people just can't stand that someone believes something differently than they do. Jeannie Mac. Twilight. Yeah, there you go. It is. Yeah, but guess what? So what am I gonna do? Kick you off my channel? I've literally told people I never mind and won't bring it up. Have a good day. I'd rather just stop, move on after that point. Yeah, darn right. Especially if they're that nuts. If they're that fanatical about it, here's the other thing. You're just thinking that you're just having an argument, maybe even a heated argument. And next thing you know, you realize that they're willing to go all the way. And I'm not talking about all the way in the good way. Yeah, you have to walk away. And I've seen people learn the hard way and change. I mean, I will never begrudge somebody for learning and changing. It's when people won't change that you have to also walk away. Auto and sub, I'm kidding. Yes, you look at all these people. I'm being unfriended. Everyone hates me. We all like things that aren't liked. Yeah. So I do agree where some of the frustration, I will give a slight defense, where maybe you might have some channels that you might have given money to. And I'm thinking of about 6 right now. So if you think I'm singling you out, I'm not. And then they go back on their mission. Let me put it to you that way. So sometimes when you see people sounding really bitter about this YouTuber said that they were going to boycott it and then they're hate watching it, now they're doing it. And the person sounds really angry. And yes, I'm talking about you, but I'm also talking about me. Okay. I'm talking about everybody. You see it all the time. Some people are like, well, what do you care what that YouTube channel did? It's like, well, I gave that channel a lot of money. Then I get rebuked saying, well, silly you for giving money. But hey, I'm monetized or mostly monetized, and you want to support the good channels. So when they do shift or you realize they didn't really mean it or they're not being consistent, there will be anger. My difference is that I don't tweet it out, and I just canceled my memberships and all that kind of stuff. Eh, I like Trimmers, so I get it. Hey, a Trimmers 5. Oh, okay. I haven't seen Trimmers 5. Amused Master says Shield Wild Dragon is a good way to get into an argument. Once they see you no longer care and are amused, they still do. Is this why you have to be careful in choosing your words for your arguments? Yes. And, oh, for crying out loud. I know Pilates is upcoming. I've got 30 more minutes. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Don't let someone goad you into saying something. Because you see, here's where it's unfair. And it is unfair. They're allowed to say whatever they want to about you and to you. But the second you even halfway meet them in kind, you're the bad guy. And that's just all there is to it. At its root, a need to be right is connected, no matter how confident you may seem, to low self esteem. You hear that? That's the other reason why you're not going to get anywhere with people who need to be right. The need to be right is in low self-esteem. As I've said, if you're confident in who you are, you don't care if someone else disagrees with you. You don't care if you quote unquote lose an argument. These people have low self-esteem. So these people that you see day in, day out, picking fights, causing fights, being unkind, not wanting to argue in good faith, they're just screaming to the world that they have low self-esteem. You're right, Magitac. The unhinged person also likes to bait you. Never take the bait. And I know that's hard. Hell, it's hard. Never take the bait. And they will bait you. I mean, I saw one person do this where they went after someone's special needs brother. That was the bait. And that finally got a response. That's how cruel people can be. That's how far they will go to win an argument, to be right. Unbelievable. And I don't get where people turn on their supporters, their members, because people just walk away. That's why I say these people don't tend to be successful. I always try to calm down before you chat back. Yes, never do anything in anger. And if you do, I've been guilty of that. I immediately apologize. Oh, that's awful. Oh, yeah. And you probably know it's to be seen. A lot of, I see who follows who, but that's how far people will go. And even if they go that far, you shouldn't respond. But also don't play the game. Like, I don't feel sorry for people that go out and are attacking unkind and then cry when someone does it back. Mad Attack Mag says mostly it's low self esteem. You need attention because they don't get it in real life. Darn right. You don't get it in real life. So you need that. You need to be successful. And it's almost at a level of a pathological situation, a pathological need. And you're standing in the way of my success, my life, my self-esteem, my how I feel about myself. How could you be so mean to me? When you're just thinking, I just said that, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something random because it's been so long since I've had any of these situations. What is it? Um, I don't know. Like something very mild. And usually it's something very mild because what you do is you trigger narcissistic injury. Um, mute them, mute and or block. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, of course I do. I mute. Don't block. Blocking, unless you have to. There's very rare occasions, but remember, blocking is also giving them attention, giving them a trophy. I like argument and I can play the same game. The sky is pink and keep it all up till they give it up and left them the whole time, knowing I'm wrong. Oh, well, and here's the thing: when I do block, you'll never see me give a block trophy or tell people. Got it. First of all, people are usually lying. Look and see if they really have blocked the person. Or maybe you don't know what's going on. So at its root, a need to be right is connected no matter how confident you may seem to low self-esteem. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I do have the sources down here from these articles. Check this out. This is also another reason why this whole I've got to be right, why it rubs us all the wrong way. If I insist that I'm right, then by default, you are wrong. And how does it feel to be wrong? Not good. See, that's that weird power thing. They're sitting there, it makes their day that they're making you feel badly. And that's why we do react no matter what. We do react to that because we're human. When we believe we are in the wrong, we may feel guilty, sorry, ashamed, anxious, regretful, dumb, stupid, inadequate, incompetent, so on. And they revel in that. These situations. And again, I know I'm focusing a lot on Twitter, but I've seen this come up in the performing arts area. And how does it feel to be right? Yeah, let's put these people on the couch. We feel powerful, strong, righteous, correct. We feel totally justified, infallible, and superior. Much better than being wrong. That's why you'll often see people say, I'm a moral person. That's why, I'm just, doing this. I've got to stand by my morals. If you think I'm talking about you, I am, but I'm also talking about me. You feel powerful, strong, righteous, correct, justified, infallible. I'm superior. Look how superior I am. That's why people often won't want to solve things privately. They've got to win public opinion. Gosh, I'm really do have in mind this particular conductor. Gosh, classical musicians can be really evil. So how can you tell if you're too caught up in being right? Okay, so this is a little bit about pointing the finger at us. Remember, I keep saying I'm talking about you, but I am talking about me. Well, indicators may include a lot of judging and criticizing others, feeling superior or looking down on others, intolerance, condescension, smugness, refusing to back down, apologize, or admit you made a mistake, continuing arguments on and on long after they have become pointless, justifying your position continually. So in other words, also when you do this, you're actually showing everyone how insecure you are. Yeah. I only block for bots or my own safety when someone has an unhinged, made up parasocial relationship for me. Yes, and I've said that's where that's where things can be necessary if it is for your own safety. In general, though, I say mute, especially if you're not on that someone's radar. I generally mute, says Kellinch. That way they don't know I'm not paying attention to them. Correct. I don't want to give them the satisfaction of knowing they are blocked. Yeah, because it'll give you a block trophy, but it'll also bring you to their attention. I don't even know this person. They blocked me. Let me go see. And they'll do it on their alt. Okay. I only do that for people coming on arguing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, and sometimes it can be past the arguments can become pointless when it's very clear that this person is not really arguing in good faith. That's why I say never argue with anyone that's not arguing in good faith. Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have here? People who always need to be right tend to have fragile egos, she said. Oh, looks like they're quoting some psycho person. When they feel as if their self image has been threatened, they want to make themselves look bigger or smarter, so they blame others. It's a coping mechanism to deal with insecurity. This is something that my father always taught me. He taught me that when you complain, even if your complaints are justified, you always look bad, or complain about a person. You always look bad. I'll tell you, this will really change the way your work relationships, sometimes maybe family relationship, friends, online situations, when you start to look at it through these lens, these people are trying to make themselves look bigger or smarter. It's a coping mechanism to deal with insecurity. That's why they can't stop. Okay, and then this is connected because I think that we all know narcissism is behind a lot of this. I love it though when narcissists pretend they're actually not narcissists and that they're actually, oh, you know, you can tell a narcissist very easily and a fake narcissist, uh, not fake narcissist, someone that is pretending to be an advocate for people with narcissistic situations. It it's very popular right now. It's all over YouTube. So sometimes I'll listen to people on YouTube that say that they're telling you how to deal with narcissists. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this person's a narcissist." One chick I unsubscribed from for that reason. Okay, but let's get into this. We're talking about narcissists. Narcissists will not apologize. This is all very connected to the need to be right. A, they don't see their actions as wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just reacting to what that person was doing and saying about me. They don't see a line. So why don't you apologize? The person had it coming. It's like, that's not good. All right. Whenever someone crosses a line and says the person had it coming, no, nobody has it coming. There's always a line you never cross. They can't expect to accept responsibility for their own behavior. Yeah, that's the whole thing. You have to admit they were wrong. Their egos get in the way. Never underestimate egos. We all have egos. I have egos. Oh my gosh. I have to worry about it all the time. Ding, ding, ding. And they constantly dredge it up in conversations, group chats, etc., even when it's not the topic. Darn right. See, that's the other thing. There was one situation, and if you think I'm talking about you, I am, but I'm also talking about me. Someone just wouldn't shut up. And it's just like, listen, we don't want to be a part of this. And everyone knows that in group chats, people screenshot. And yes, if you think I'm talking about this group chat, I am, but I'm also talking about 10 others. Okay. And I should also add group chats are a bad idea. Group chats are a very, very bad idea. The only time to be in a group chat is if, how do I say this? Sometimes you need to be in there like if you're part of a regular stream, or it's people you really, really trust, but it needs to be a small number. Got to be careful with group chats. They're bad news. And part of the reason they're bad news is just by you being there, you might get blamed for what someone else says and be put on blast. They're unable to control themselves when they are triggered. Ding, 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 ding. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can't control themselves. Dry says sunken cost fallacy. Once you build up a house of cards, you get more defenses about protecting it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I had to put on lunch. What I missed? Oh, well, we're going through these here. The actual articles that I had. Magitech Mag says I've left so many group chats for a variety of reasons, but this is one of them. Honestly, whittled it all down to maybe like 3 group chats. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. And you can't control who comes in. Gosh, am I going to get myself in trouble for saying this is why I don't like mass tagging? I don't like mass tagging. They don't apologize because they have no empathy for your feelings. This is another thing. They don't give a crap that you feel horrible. They may even think it's funny you feel horrible. This is where we're starting to get a little bit into psychopathy. They have no empathy. Oh, they'll let you know when you've been hurt, when they've been hurt. It's a crime to hurt them, but it's funny when they hurt someone else. If you think I'm talking about you, I am. I'm also talking about me. Yeah. They think they're perfect. Believe it or not, they do. They don't connect their behavior with your emotional reactions. Yeah. So you're sitting there losing your crap. This has happened to me several times. I'm so mad. I'm like, "Bleh, bleh, bleh. How could you be so horrible to me?" It's like, well, look what you said to me. It's like, I didn't do anything, that there be so so usually when a fight breaks out, be careful which side you choose. Actually, don't choose any side because it's probably been building. People don't just randomly fly off the handle. It's something that's been building. And it's like the reason I'm so upset is because you did this to me, to my loved ones. They can't relate to your feelings. They can only think of themselves. You can't expect an apology from someone who doesn't meet the criteria of being a decent human being. Yeah. I mean, sometimes let's just throw it out there. Mhm. I feel like you're calling me out. Well, yes, I am. I'm calling you out, but I'm also calling me out. I talk here about my temptations. So you know what Teresa's being tempted with, but with what I do with these, because I'm trying to find a remedy for me too, to hold myself accountable. Because I don't want to be a horrible person. I'm on a group chat with local friends, but not internet friends. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And again, if you see some things, again, look at the history. It's like this person hates this person for no reason whatsoever. Oh, there's a reason. I hate to say this, I'll say it. One more time, though. You also don't know the mental stability of the people you're dealing with. I can right now on 2 hands say that there's people lurking around that are insane, certifiable psychopaths. And I'll never name them because then someone will go to them and say, "She thinks you're a psychopath." And then guess what? The psycho comes after me. Happened once, never again. So you're on your own, kids. Just look at how people behave. Aha, this is the other thing. They expect others to forgive them without any effort on their part to truly change their behavior. So, yeah, you got to apologize, but they don't have to apologize to you. And they don't have to change being a jerk. Like, so if you lose your temper with this person, or if they do something bad, gosh, I ran across this one a few times in my days. They do something really bad and they expect you to forgive them. And you're like, "Okay, I forgive you." And then they keep doing it. It's like, "Well, but whatever." And it's like, "But you forgave me." It's like, you have to forgive them, but have they never owe you an apology. And they will not forgive you. They will have no mercy on you, no matter how small the perceived or maybe real slight is. Never forgive. But you have to give them all the leeway in the world. And here's what's also insidious. Sometimes if you are a moral person, there's lines you won't cross, they will take advantage of that, and it's not fair. They know, "I will cross this line, but this person will not cross it back with me." That's also another evil thing. I don't have to worry right now as no one follows me online. Well, yeah, you're a smart man. I saw a documentary about psychopaths a while back. A lot of them are productive members of society and never do anything destructive. They may not even know they have the tendencies. Darn right. And I think that, but that's where the internet, unfortunately, has given them an outlet and a means to unleash this on people. I know complaining males makes you look bad, but certain family members do the forgiven shtick. It's frustrating. Oh, darn right. Yeah. And remember, I'm not just talking about online. Yeah, family. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can tell you this as a Christian. Thank God my family's not one of this, but I've experienced this. It's like, "You're a Christian, you're supposed to forgive, or Jesus has forgiven me." They'll do something awful and they'll say, "Well, Jesus forgave me." I'm like, "Well, that's great. I'm glad Jesus forgave you, but how about you still apologize to me?" Jesus is God, okay? Yeah. Congratulations. Jesus forgave you. He forgave me too. Okay, and that's it. That's it for today. As far as the articles and stuff go. You're describing the most vocal voices on Twitter, yeah. And that's why I keep saying, if you think I'm talking about you, I am. I've got about 50 now people in mind. Many of them I've never even met or interacted with. Some of them are famous personalities. Mad Tech Mags, I've learned that you won't get proper closure. Darn right you won't. So I just move on. You have to. I forgive. I don't forget. I forgive not only for the sake of the other person, but for me. Darn right. The sanity is more important. Let them be. Yes. And this is the truth. Time will heal. Time will heal. Except for that classical music stuff. Maybe that's because it's so connected to our egos. But classical musicians, oh my gosh, you think that rock stars have egos. But yes, you gotta move on. And you gotta walk away. You're never gonna get them to acknowledge they're wrong. Never. It's impossible. They are actually incapable of doing so. I was once told by a psychologist, narcissists are incurable. And I remember going, "Dang, that's harsh." But what she was meaning was, by their very nature, they are unable for self-reflection. That's the only way to stop being a narcissist. So there's nothing you can do. Certainly not calling them out because then you provoke narcissistic injury. And I have in the past, when I say the past, understand I've been in the business since 1998. So we're talking a long time. I have in the past gotten very mad with people for provoking narcissistic injury because the splash hit me. It's been really interesting, but lunch break is over. I have to get back. Take care of everyone. I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Forgiveness doesn't mean no consequences. Darn right. But that's usually what people mean. Or I've once even seen someone refuse to, but they're like, well, it's been so long. We just don't need to talk about this anymore. It's like, well, yeah. You see that with children? Now, I can tolerate it, I think, in children and teenagers more than adults. Have a good day. Yes, please. Thank you for being here. I just remembered the Futurama episode where they get superpowers. An elephant never forgets to kill. I'm sorry. Yeah. And sometimes you see with a lot professionals that got fired. And they'll say, I didn't do anything, or they fired me because of this. And it turns out, no. It is very rare that you are fired without cause. There's a darn good reason you get fired. The exception being sometimes my personal experience with the arts and in education has been you will be maybe pushed out. Like it'll just become such a toxic environment, you just decide to leave. But fired, you're fired. There's a reason. You can try to appease them, says Magitech Mags. Maybe even give on things that you weren't responsible for, but at the same time, it won't work. They never don't take responsibility or anything. No, they won't. No. And that's why it's very important you don't take responsibility for something that what you weren't responsible for. The reasons being that then you've given them ammo. Well, you did this. Never give them ammo. See, that's how you keep the high ground. You never give ammunition. That's why I said earlier in the stream, never lie, never get revenge, always be straightforward, always apologize when you are wrong. And you will always have the high ground. Never, ever do anything in public. Always have a trusted witness. Don't buy any of this. Well, just between you and me. First of all, it's going to be shared. Second of all, always have a witness. Also, always remember that when you are on a live stream, that the host can see people that might be listening in on the stream before or after, or even reading the private chat, but you may not see that. So be careful. The biggest are the fake nice people. I can't stand them. Yeah, and I will say this as a Christian. The fake nice Christian people are the worst. Wait, yep, own what you did, but nothing else. Darn right. And sometimes, I will say, I'm sorry I lost my temper. I'm sorry what I said in anger. But we still need to deal with the situation. I think there's been a situation with GB News where the guy actually did kind of apologize. Okay, I probably shouldn't have done that. But why is that taking the place of dealing with what she did and said? I've accidentally given ammo. Darn right, Magitech Mags. I'm a peacemaker type, so it's hard not to give ammo. Yep. And you see, this is where you've got to be wise as a serpent, but innocent as a dove. Never give ammo. Also, keep in mind, if you know about it, they know about it. There are some rare circumstances where that may not be the case. Like if you're new to a certain area. I'm minding my own business, moved to a new neighborhood. Sometimes I genuinely don't know. Never give ammo. Never accept the premise, and you do not have to accept an invitation to every argument. Fight smart, not hard. And what's the other one I like to give? I don't remember. Fight smart, not hard. Just remember, if you know, everyone else knows too. And you can't be a peacemaker if the people don't want peace. Peace is not really what people want the majority of the time. People want power, particularly on Twitter. Be very careful right now because it is monetized. So being a peacemaker doesn't get clicks, doesn't get those views where they get this ad revenue. I mean, when I've seen some of the money some of these people are bringing in, those that have monetized their Twitter, hell, I might be tempted. I'll be tempted, but I won't do it because I don't want to go to, I don't want to start worshiping money. You could say something crappy and get a lot of attention. You can start a fight and get a lot of attention, and you get $2,000 check for doing what? For trolling on the internet. Rather deal with an honest a-hole than a fake saint. Darn right. And the worst kind of saints are the self-proclaimed saints. Watch out for them. Yep, everyone knows whether you like it or not. Darn right. Mm-hmm. For real, yeah. Well, and here's the other thing I've seen. And this is, I'm probably talking about you, but I'm also talking about me, but I'm really talking about something that happened in 2002. So those of you that might be paranoid, it's not you. Great. I just forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, everyone knows whether you like it or not. Yeah. Person calling for peace usually gets shot from both sides. Darn right. Yeah. Gosh darn it, why did it go out of my head what that situation was? But yes. People know, but they are choosing not to for their own personal reasons. Oh, this is the one I was thinking of. Always beware of someone that shows up like at a club. This was a club I was involved with. And they say, "Yeah, I don't have any friends. Why don't you have any friends?" Well, none of them were genuine and they were fakers and they were all backstabbers. But you guys, you are genuine. You're my new friends. You guys aren't like all those other friends. Pause right there. Everyone has at least one friend. Everyone has at least someone to be loyal to. Everyone has at least one family member they can count on. If that really is the case, that person's the problem. And then once they piss you off, then they'll move on. They'll lose all their friends again and then find some more. I need to know what you forgot now. This was the one. This was the one. Something to do with 2002. Yeah. So I was just going to say, if people are, but I have seen this happen on the internet every now and then. It's like, I have nobody because no one's genuine. It's like, no one? Not even one person? You keep having to get a new set of friends every 6 months. But yeah, this was an individual, back in 2002. But if it applies to something that's current, well, then yes, it does. That's why I keep saying, yeah, I am talking about you. It's them. My family won't have anything to do with me. Why? No reason whatsoever. Really? Oh, crap. I've got to go. I do have Pilates and I've been yapping so much. I do need to go. So thank you, everyone that's been here. It's been fun. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain to not be obsessed with being right.